How would you like to improve your health and keep your family safe? You're listening to the Healthy Home Hacks podcast, where we firmly believe enjoying optimal health shouldn't be a luxury. Healthy Home Authorities and husband and wife team Ron and Lisa will help you create a home environment that will level up your health. It's time to hear from the experts. Listen in on honest conversations and gain the best tips and advice. If you're ready to dive in and improve your well-being and increase your energy, you're in the right place. All right, here are your hosts, bowel biologists, authors, media darlings, vicarious vegans, and avocado aficionados, Ron and Lisa Barris.
From supermodel to supermogul, you may recognize her from gracing the covers of some of the world's most famous glossy magazines, such as Vogue, Cosmopolitan, Forbes, People, Harper's Bazaar, Good Housekeeping, Women's Day, Glamour, the New York Times, Reader's Digest, 17, and much more. Besides making men swoon on a Sports Illustrated swimsuit cover, there are some other secret superpowers you may not know about today's guest. Supermodel and fashion icon, Kathy Ireland. While most teens were dealing with acne, finding a prom date, and peer pressure, Kathy Ireland's fashion career was beginning its runway walk at the ripe age of 16.
Yes, and since then, she has catwalked her way to being named one of the most 50 influential people in fashion, according to Fairchild. The success of her company, Kathy Ireland Worldwide, which was founded in 1993, is rooted in passion, creativity, teamwork, and a dedication to service. Listeners, if you think Kathy is just another pretty face, think again. Her company ranks in the 15th position of worldwide brands, according to Licensed Global magazine. Yet, Kathy Ireland's solely owned company had humble beginnings, starting at the family kitchen table. But today is the highest ranking women-owned licensing business in American history.
This year, Kathy is being elected to the Licensing International Hall of Fame and is the youngest executive and first woman to receive this rare lifetime achievement accolade. If Kathy's brains and beauty weren't enough, add to this, she's a fearless human rights advocate who works tirelessly on behalf of oppressed people, which explains why she received the International Religious Freedom Champion Award. Oh, and she's a philanthropist too. Kathy Ireland Worldwide supports numerous nonprofits, and she uses her voice against all forms of discrimination.
So friends, let's recap. Kathy Ireland is smart, savvy, stunning, and sweet. But guys, don't be green with envy. The reason she is here with us today? Superpower number 5. Turns out Kathy is also sustainable and cares about the health and well-being of our planet, which is how our green paths crossed.
Welcome to the Healthy Home Hacks Show.
Ron and Lisa, oh my goodness. Thank you for that kind introduction. And thank you for inviting me on your show. Congratulations on all your success. I'm truly grateful for your amazing work, the information you get to people everywhere.
Oh, thank you, Kathy. We are so thrilled to have you. We're so excited. I know our listeners are going to love this episode and love hearing from you. You are just a wealth of success. I'm like reading your resume.
That one word, success, absolutely.
You're so kind. I mean, you are listening to all that. And I think of all the failures along the way that is just part of life and getting any kind of success. Failures are too many to mention. We wouldn't have time.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. I literally said to Ron, wow, her resume is so amazing. It looks like everything just fell so perfectly into place.
Yeah.
And then I said to Ron, but I know that can't be true.
You're absolutely, I mean, it is a long journey to any kind of success. So I say congratulations to you because I recognize it's hard work. And when you fall, when you fail, you get back up, you learn from your mistakes and you do better.
Yes, absolutely. We're going to get into some of that too. I'd love to hear some of the background on that. And I know we have some budding entrepreneurs in our audience that are going to get some great tips today about how Kathy did create all of this. But just to get started, I want to talk about the plastic pollution problem that we have in our world today, which you'd have to be living under a rock not to know about it. And 91% of plastic today isn't even recycled. It takes more than 400 years to degrade in the environment. And in 2019, scientists set out to say, how much plastic have we produced? And they found that it was 8.3 billion metric tons of plastic.
That's with a B, billion.
A B, yeah. Billion with a B, most of which is coming from disposable items. So Kathy, you have a brand of all natural, eco-friendly home products called EcoClean that our readers and listeners may not be aware of, that provides a well-needed solution to harmful plastics that are free of harmful chemicals. So Kathy, why is it important to you personally to create a greener, more sustainable legacy with your brand?
Yes, we do. With our partners, NaturEZway, EcoClean. There are so many wonderful alternatives to plastic. When you're talking about that, bamboo, for one, is amazing. And when we started our brand back in 93 with a single pair of socks, I was an aging pregnant model at our kitchen table. And the environment was first and foremost. So socks were made out of recycled soda pop bottles and bamboo and also hemp. And
wow.
It's critical.
I didn't know that.
We did it because it's the right thing to do. It's also economical. So for all those entrepreneurs out there, you can save a lot of money by doing things well and right. The how is critical. And it is critical for all of us to really accept the truth. You mentioned this in the opening. Unless we live in complete isolation, we're all building some kind of a legacy because we're all role models. Somebody's watching, they're paying attention. And the question is, what kind of a role model are we? I mean, is it intentional or are we doing this without thought? Mm-hmm. And my goodness, we find ourselves as a world, as a nation, as parents and grandparents, in just a realization that we all must be great stewards of the environment. I believe that's a responsibility we all have. And with very few exceptions today, we all realize, each of us has the ability to lead a gently greener impact on our planet. And it's so sad to see that, simple good citizenry for corporations and for individuals, it can be politicized and it has no business being in that arena. And somehow the body of politic has entered the most basic discussions, therefore reducing people to taking separate corners rather than aligning and solving problems, because this is something we can all agree on. And growing up in Santa Barbara, our parents instilled just some really basic values of awareness for appropriate and inappropriate behavior. And it was instructive. And as we built Kathy Ireland worldwide, that information was critical. Our dad worked in labor relations with farm workers in particular, and my mom, a nurse. And so when we think about it, they were really building a legacy for themselves, which was imparted to my sisters and me. And, we all have a responsibility to really improve the human condition and to leave each situation better than the way we found it.
Oh, I love that. There's that famous quote, "We do not inherit the earth from our ancestors. We borrow it from our children." And I think that's so true, Kathy. It's really great that you were taught that at such a young age, and that kind of became part of your mantra, it sounds like, through your business and through your adulthood. And I know you have children, you have 3 children, correct?
We do, yes.
Yeah, passing that on. And regardless, whether you had parents that taught you that, we do have a personal responsibility, and it certainly takes a lot more time, energy, and money and resources to undo the problems that we create versus preventing them in the first place. So everybody has their part, like you said, and I always tell our listeners, baby steps. You don't have to build a eco-friendly home. You don't have to, do major things. It's just little things, just being cognizant of the planet and all the inhabitants and making those little changes, starting with recycling and just small things like that.
Well, I love Lisa and Ron that you make it real. And we travel and we do cause a footprint, but yet how can we reduce it? How can we make it better? And seeking, never ever wanting to be hypocritical, yet looking for ways that we can always improve.
Yeah. Well said.
Great.
Yeah.
Great response. You were so ahead of the curve, Kathy. 1993. I can't believe it. Wow. So in addition to creating renewable bamboo inspired cruelty-free lines, can you share with us some ways you incorporate green living into your own daily life?
Yes. Well, not seeking to be obtuse simply from the beginning of childhood. We knew not to waste anything. And we were taught to separate that which came from the earth with products that were man-made. And our parents had us composting. And it wasn't really average in the neighborhood back then.
Yeah, right. You were
sure. Yeah.
Come play. And they're like, what is this?
Jump in on earth? Are your parents hippies?
But it was, just wonderful lessons. And Kathy Ireland Worldwide's legacy is really an homage to the basic tenets of human decency and the golden rule. And that was taught to us by our parents. And the legacy of the company, in human rights, in the environment, in the avoidance of toxicity. That's as much an homage to John and Barbara Ireland as it is to the company itself. And without their values, I really believe that I would not be as aware. And, and still the truth is, we can always do better, all of us. And so there's no need to indict anyone. Being curious is a really good thing. Just always asking questions, what can we do to be better?
I love that. Yeah. We teach our listeners through our programs how to read labels, how to not get greenwashed, how to understand, a brand states something that they are backing up those claims and that they mean that. So really becoming your own detective, which we talk a lot about on the show, and taking responsibility instead of just putting that on manufacturers or on somebody else to do that for you. And I know you recently partnered with the Green Pet Shop as well as NaturEZway, and that's Nature's with a Z, for their Kathy Ireland Eco Clean Home Products line. So what led to the formation of these partnerships? We're hearing about your background and kind of growing up with these values, but was there anything specific that led to this line?
These lines are amazing, and we seek to always work with incredible partners. And, asking questions, can we do more? So finding people in the Green Pet Shop and NaturEZway who would answer it in a positive way. Why use chemicals in cleaning supplies when nature offers healthier solutions? And why use plastic when bamboo is biodegradable? So being curious, it's just really helpful. And it makes me think there's a Broadway song, being good isn't good enough. And
Kathy, can you sing that song for us?
No.
No worries.
It's okay. I'm not going to torture you. But we're not attempting moral high ground. We're just really seeking to, come alongside what you're all doing and make an effort. And with our pet products also, just a wonderful company that is bringing products that are eco-friendly, that's amazing. And we work with just extraordinary people, the Green Pet Shop, helping people, helping animals, helping the environment, and vertical wellness, the hemp industry. Working with people who really take that seriously. Our vetting process, our getting to know you process when we're seeking to work with a new partner, it's extensive. The how is very involved. I don't believe that when we're talking about supporting the environment, that nothing should be niche. Everything has an impact. And so we ask, okay, what's the gentlest way to do everything that we're doing?
Yeah. Is there
Excellent.
a better way? I love, because your pet line has the biodegradable pet waste bags, which I think is so spectacular. We wrote a book years ago called Just Green It: Simple Swaps to Save the Planet and Your Health. And it's kind of like an eat this, not that, like buy this, don't buy that. And we had that as one of our categories because of, again, that plastic waste. And we live in a community, a development where, everyone's got the bags, but gosh, the amount of waste with those plastic bags too. And I want to just talk about some of the products in your line, because the Eco Clean line, which, for listeners who aren't familiar with it, there's everything from bath tissue, paper towels that are biodegradable, compostable cups.
Yeah. Compostable, right back from our childhood. It's
yeah. Right.
Handmade by Kathy, right? Put together. No.
It's a really amazing line. What am I missing? I mean, there's a lot. You've got floor wipes, and I loved how you have the aroma-free products, because we don't need to be adding more chemicals into our home with these toxic fragrances. Like you said, it's kind of going back to what grandma used. Like, nature gave us vinegar and baking soda and essential oils and all these great things to clean. We don't need to be, grasping for air from, chlorine bleach and ammonia and these caustic chemicals that are so prevalent in cleaning products, and even trash bags, right? Trash bags are heavily scented today, and dryer sheets and all of that. So your line is very clean and just amazing.
That's true. Kathy, is there anything that we missed? Because we talked about how you're making this a greener earth with Kathy Ireland worldwide, and how you're committed to that. But is there something we didn't discuss so far about the products and what you're doing right now that we should make a point of listening to?
Well, thank you. I mean, with all of our partners across the board, the environment is something that is very important to us. And whether it's our rugs, we started by working with recycled products, and that's something that we continue today, working to make a smaller footprint in the home industry, working with the wonderful sustainability organizations that just are amazing, aligning ourselves closely with them to always learn how we can do better and to also teach others. That's important. So all of our partners in the home industry, from home furnishings, lighting, everyone is involved in this and making an impact. And our fashion industry, it's across the board in every sector in which we work.
Yeah.
That's important. And this is something that we don't talk about often, but we've walked away from millions of dollars in agreements and guarantees because we learned that partners, they were operating within the letter of the law, though not what we considered a moral spirit. And to us, that's cheating, because you don't win when you cheat. And just because a product can meet the standards of some states, if it's a product that our children couldn't use in California, but it's going to be okay, this toxic environment in other parts, it's like, no.
Right.
So you've got to have the courage to know what you're willing to walk away from. And and we've walked away from a lot and been told that it was crazy and stupid. But ultimately, we've earned so much in other places. And having money, it's not evil. Loving it, worshiping it, we all know better. Own money, don't let it own you. But that's never our motivator. And being willing to walk away no matter what, that's how we built our brand, and that's how we continue it.
Oh, wow. That's important. You really, you kept your standards high, and you kept the integrity, and, especially these days, consumers really, really value that, and they appreciate that. They know you're going to be consistent and that they're going to trust what you say is true, and you're going to follow through on that, because as we know, we've seen a lot of companies not do that. And I like how you talked about the chemicals. There's a lot of chemicals on the market now. What is it? 80,000 registered with the EPA that many, many, many have never been tested for their health and safety. So just because it's for sale doesn't mean that it's safe for you and your family. And you have to kind of, going back to that, trust the brands that are walking the talk. And
and there's such, there's so many great resources, and I touched on it early in our furniture career. We had the privilege of working with Susan Inglis, and she's of the Sustainable Furnishings Council. And, our commitment to making sure that people are treated fairly in every step of the design and manufacturing process, it includes the climate. It includes, if factories are toxic, then people working on our products are being exposed to toxicity. And those toxins, they come into the factory, entering the supply chain. They travel to the showroom, the retailer, and then, of course, into the homes of our customers. So each of us, has and will leave some sort of legacy and is accountable for how we treat each other and what kind of stewards we're going to be. So it's being alert and just always learning how to do better.
I love that. That is so
You
amazing.
always had this passion, even when you were younger, to have this, I don't know, this fortitude to just think about the big picture and how you can create businesses to help the world and people? Or did that kind of develop as you more matured later in life?
Ron, as a child, I grew up in the great outdoors, and we grew up camping and fishing and hiking and just all the outdoor adventures. And I loved it. And so taking care of it has always been on my mind. And then with my mom being a nurse, my dad working with Cesar Chavez in the unions and helping the farm workers, how people are treated has always been on the forefront of my mind. I was that annoying kid who'd go door to door selling things. So being
Ron too.
Okay.
You and Ron have that common.
All right. What did you sell, Ron?
Well, I not as noble as you. I was selling dry cleaning discount cards. So buy $100 worth of dry cleaning for 20. And I don't think dry cleaning was that clean at the time either. So
it wasn't green earth then.
It wasn't green earth. That's right. It was a little while back.
But Ron's background was sales. And so you were a little budding entrepreneur from the time you were in high school, so that's
sales is the lifeblood of every business.
It is,
hey, Kathy, I would imagine the more doors were closed on me than you.
I don't know.
I'm going to go with you on that one.
We'll have to talk about that, Ron. I had quite a few doors slam.
Okay.
That's amazing. So Kathy, can you shed some light on your company's Millennium Development Goals?
Sure. So I've had the privilege of working with the UN on their youth program, their Millennium Development Goals. And, in maturity, as I'm just a little too cranky to agree with any one person or entity on anything. So there's plenty of things with the UN that I don't agree with. However, the Millennium Goals, those are great. I mean, these are wonderful. Again, the how is really important to me, how we accomplish these goals. And I think we all have to take responsibility on that and look at that. These goals include everything from fighting poverty, fighting disease, fighting hunger, supporting our environment, supporting education. And we've included 2 more goals, and that is the fight in human trafficking and supporting our military veterans and their families. And so with our company, sometimes people say, why do you still do this after all these years? Why are you still working? We love what we do. We have a passion for it. And the vision for our company is teach, inspire, empower, make our world better. When we're looking to partner with a company, we show them our development goals and we say, please look at these, because it's a very diverse group. And what do you currently support, or what will you commit to support should we work together? That's the first part of our vetting process. Once in a while, it doesn't happen a lot, but we'll get someone who says, we're not interested in any of this. And that allows us to know, okay, we're not going to be a good fit. So it saves us all time.
Wow, that's crazy.
And we don't demand a monetary amount. It can be volunteer hours with your team. But we have to know that if we're going to invest time and resources in our infrastructure with people, with companies, we need to know that in success, we're going to honor that vision teach, inspire, empower, make our world better. And so that gets us up in the morning. That is exciting to us. When we know that in success, we're going to have a great impact on the world and do wonderful things, whether it's planting trees, helping animal shelters, supporting our military veterans, fighting disease and poverty, whether it's the war on human trafficking. Decades ago, I worked in the modeling industry, and the sex slave trade, it is ugly, it is evil, it is real. It's heartbreaking. And tragically, when human beings are no longer profitable, and everyone is, vulnerable to this, children in particular, girls and boys. And when they're no longer profitable in the sex slave trade, they're often sold into forced labor. And that is why we began in 93 with our socks. We started by conducting surprise factory inspections. You find out a lot when you show up unexpectedly.
Wow.
And continuing to work with wonderful organizations. I'm the International Youth Chair for the National Pediatric Cancer Foundation. They're doing amazing work. I serve as an ambassador for the Elizabeth Taylor AIDS Foundation. People who are doing incredible work. Our partners at American Family Insurance, they have the biggest, most philanthropic hearts. I just love that. And it doesn't feel like going to work when you're working with such great people. They become family.
Yeah.
Wow.
You seem, obviously we can tell from just talking to you, you're very involved in your company. You're very involved in all aspects of it. Not one of these people that just slapped your name on the brands and, are off at the spa.
I do get accused of being a control freak. I prefer to think of it as passionate. Right? I'm very passionate. Yeah. And you know what, Lisa, I was okay as a model. I certainly wasn't all that. A celebrity endorsement was not an option. Nobody was going to buy something because it had my name on it. I knew that whatever we design and market and bring out to market, it had to be of great quality, of great value. That's why we started with socks, because it's so basic. And if women would embrace something as basic as a pair of socks, that would tell us that we were onto something. And Ron, yes, when we first started selling our socks and going door to door, I can't tell you how many doors slammed in our faces, phones hung up on us.
They're regretting it now.
No one in sales hasn't experienced that.
Yeah, that's true. It makes it tough.
Kathy, I hope you're okay with me telling the story, but I saw it when I was doing some background research, and I thought it was so funny. I told Ron the story. So when you were in modeling, how photographer tried to, have you be a little risque, and you socked him. Is that true?
Yeah. But you know what? Boundaries are really important, Lisa. And I said no. Yeah. And he just kept, being very insistent. And my no got bigger as he insisted louder. But he just kind of crossed that line. He started to shove me a little bit. And so that was my reaction. It was a good left hook. And
wow. Are you left-handed, Kathy?
That's hilarious.
Are you left-handed?
I'm left-handed in writing, and I'm
and punching.
Right-footed. Yeah.
Oh, me too, Kathy. Left in writing, but I do everything else pretty much right.
Interesting. Yeah.
I guess because we live in a right-handed world, but that's such a great story.
I punch with my right hand though. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Well, I wanted to share that because you were talking about the human trafficking, and I think just women having that strong voice and that empowerment too, right? Knowing our boundaries and knowing when we're, what we're willing and not willing to do, not only in that area, but like with your values of your company, you can see that trickles into all areas. And I think this empowerment for women, not just being strong businesswomen and entrepreneurs, but really, having those lines and having those values and really sticking to those, I think is just so inspiring, Kathy. I love that story. Ron loved it too, because Ron's like Mr. Protective. So when I told him that story, he was like, wow, that's so great.
I was like, she's such a winner. Well, Kathy, not that you need any more partnerships. You have so many great partnerships, but do you have any upcoming partnerships that you're looking forward to at the moment?
I'm going to need to come back and spend time with you if you'll be kind enough to invite me, because there are some really exciting partnerships that are premature to discuss right now.
Okay.
But I will tell you that they are wonderful companies. They're doing incredible things. I'm excited today to work with people across sectors. I mean, Lisa, you were talking about women and standing up for ourselves. And we were talking earlier about the importance of being curious and asking questions, specifically about environmental issues. But this goes across the board too. There's been a lot of pushback throughout my career. It's like, well, a woman can't be in fintech. You need to be in cosmetics and fashion strictly. I mean, nothing wrong with cosmetics and fashion. That's wonderful. I mean, these are areas in which we work. Why not fintech? And so this is an area where we're working with incredible people. Our company, it's been called a mini conglomerate. Warren Buffett's been a mentor and a very dear friend, and definitely inspired our business. It's kind of like a Berkshire Hathaway, but on a much, much smaller valuation. We're currently, Ireland Pay is one of our companies in which we work, credit card processing, and NASA being one of our clients.
Wow.
So just working with wonderful people since the pandemic. We've been able to, we just was like, okay, what is going to happen to small businesses? Small businesses really are the heartbeat of our country. And so we developed Kathy Ireland Small Business Network. And this is an effort to not only help small businesses survive, but to thrive and scale. We work with UBS, and our clients, our partners in the Small Business Network, have the benefit of these leaders. We also launched Kathy Ireland American Homes with our partner, Phil Baratelli, affordable housing throughout our country, and really bringing products to these homes that are sustainable and that are made well. And also our Kathy Ireland Recovery Centers. We've seen a heartbreaking amount of just addictions and suicides. I mean, the world is tough right now. It's really tough.
Yeah, it's really tough on children too.
We've got to bring solutions and bring hope. And our brand has always been about solutions. And so as we're identifying what are the needs, how can we be a better service? That's incredible. Let's Talk Interactive is a wonderful new partner for us, and just bringing medical information and care to people in their homes and serving people in ways that are really tangible and that are making a difference in their lives in meaningful ways.
So that's like telemedicine.
They are the telehealth leaders in our country.
Okay. Yeah. Which is great now. We're doing everything from home more and more and more. So all of those. And were you involved? Is any of your partners involved in shipping containers using that? Was that part of that housing?
Yeah. I mean, container homes is an area in which we've worked, and those are amazing because recyclable and it really helps to, limit that footprint as well.
Yeah. We just did an article on our website on, it's a company called Mod Pools. I don't know if you've heard of them, but they actually take shipping containers and make pools, and they're really beautiful, and they'll cut out like parts of the side and put glass in. So they're very stylish, and, they go in the ground, although I think maybe you could put them above the ground too, but they look like a high-end pool. You would never know it was a shipping container.
And how great is that? Instead of, going in a landfill.
Right? Exactly. Yeah. We have a lot. Go through the Long Beach port. Oh my goodness. All those shipping containers. It's mind boggling. So moving forward with partnering with the Green Pet Shop that we touched upon earlier, such a great way to make a niche industry like pet supplies more eco-friendly. What are some other niche industries that you see innovating to become greener in the future?
Lisa, I think it can't be niche. I think it's got to be everybody, every company. What can we do? What can we do to make our products better, our services better? How can we limit our footprint? So, and I really believe, asking those questions, where are our products made? Are chemicals involved? It's like the cliche, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And
yeah, well said.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to put any pressure on Lisa, but can you share with us how you built your career from supermodel to the 15th most powerful brand in the world, and really the highest ranking woman-owned, individual-owned business in the licensing industry? How'd you do it, Kathy?
Pressure's
a lot of sweat,
a lot of
equity,
pressure
I'll
there.
tell you that.
Yeah. Kathy, do you sleep?
Do you
Not enough. Not enough. Maybe a little too much coffee, but you know what? I have a great team. I have a fantastic team. And growing up, I've always loved sports. I'm not great at any of them, but I love the idea of different people coming together with different skill sets towards a common goal. And when I worked as a model, people used to tease me and they'd say, you're so cheap. Why don't you, buy better clothes or, drive a nicer car? And
I'm saving to build an empire. That's why.
Yes, thank you, Ron. Not cheap, fiscally frugal. And I was saving to invest in people, and knowing that I was going to need help. I think sometimes, particularly, you kind of geared this towards Lisa. I think as women, it can be tough to delegate because, we want to do everything, that control freak thing.
Yeah. And we're kind of taught that that's not to be assertive. I think that way, right? That's rude. Whereas if a man says the same thing, that can be like, oh, that's fine.
And we got, that we got to just not. And, and solving problems for moms in the beginning, that's how we started our brand. And now it's really solving problems for everyone. People who look to us as a brand of trust and integrity. I mean, that's really the foundation of our success, getting it right with that first pair of socks. Yeah. And in answer to your question, Ron, it's the sweat equity. It is a lot of failures, and we learn from our mistakes and we get back up again. And it's that team. So our team at Kathy Ireland Worldwide, they are family. And I mean, our core team, we've been together for over 3 decades, and we've got our millennials and our Gen Z, and it is just amazing team. And we're a very diverse team. We are very inclusive, but when it comes to what's really important, and this is in thought too. So, it's really boring if you just surround yourself with people who think exactly the same way you do. It makes for some really good debate. But when I say that there's many differences in our team, every background and every thought, every, different faiths, different thoughts. Yeah. But when it comes to what's important, and we have a core tenet, and that's consider others as more important than yourself. That comes from my favorite book. And I can't separate that from myself. So that, that's just in our business. And some people say it's counterintuitive to business. For us, it works when we're considering working with someone. The question is, how will working with us lift your company? How will it raise your bottom line? Yeah. How will it enhance the lives of others? And if it doesn't, then, we're not a good fit.
Yeah.
And so, and it's really important to have boundaries and to live them. And,
walk the talk. Exactly. Now,
absolutely.
do your family members work at the company? Also your husband or any of your children?
Our family is very independent of my work. My husband, as well as an emergency room physician, he's a CEO and captain of his fishing industry, the Fourth Watch.
Oh, wow.
And so saving lives, feeding people, amazing.
Oh my goodness. Amazing. And you guys have been married a long time, right?
Yeah, we just had our 33rd anniversary. So that's great. And all of our children, amazing. I mean, our son is an extraordinary photographer, and he and his wife have an amazing business. And so, yeah, our company, we drag him in from time to time.
I bet.
Because he's the best.
Yeah, of course.
But they've all got their own identities, their own work, their own passions, and it's exciting to see them come to fruition.
Wow, that's really fantastic. So what advice do you have for the listeners that are women on this show that, are wanting to start their own business? Are there any do's and don'ts that you would tell your past self that can maybe help somebody listening today?
Don't assume anything. Ask a lot of questions. Be curious. know your values, know what you believe and why, put boundaries in place to protect those values because they're going to be challenged. Know what you'd be willing to walk away from, to be fired from. And don't do anything in fear. Be fearless and don't let someone else's opinion of you or your circumstances define or destroy you. You know, I'm way too odd shaped. I don't fit in anyone's box. Don't let anyone put limits on you. And if someone tells you your idea is stupid, you know, it's their opinion. And try to discern from it. Because sometimes I really think criticism is a gift. Sometimes it's in a nasty package and we just have to deal with that. We kind of have to open it to discern, even though it was delivered in an unkind way, is there something I can learn from this?
Oh, that's good.
And grow?
Yeah, I love that. And I think
don't let it stop you.
Yeah, don't let it stop you. And I think that we're in an age right now with social media where it's really a big topic of impacting young girls and men, young boys that we are not me. Well, yeah, we're all victim to, or we're all victim to the mean comment on a social media or, you know, anything negative. And you just have to realize like what is it? If you try to please everyone, you'll end up pleasing no one, especially yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we can't be people pleasers. I mean, that's just yuck. You got to be true to yourself and true to who you are, learn from each other, but not try to please other people and compromise yourself at the same time. It just doesn't work.
It just doesn't work. And especially you coming from the modeling industry is really so impressive because that's an industry where it's all critical on looks, right? It's just, you know, defined. And then to have really been successful in that and then overcome and done a business and have thick skin and a good upper jab. You know?
Well, no, thank you, Lisa. And I think one of the greatest gifts of that long ago modeling career was all the rejection. You know, didn't appreciate it at the time, but Ron, when those doors started slamming, it certainly didn't destroy me. And I had some past rejection experience being that kid door to door, you know, entrepreneur. You
had a good left foot too, Kathy, because your foot went right into the door when they closed it, right? Is that
Yeah. You just, you know, and it's like Sheryl Sandberg wrote that book, Leaning In. I understand that. Yet when we started, there was not a boardroom to lean into. Nobody was like opening those doors. There was doors of curiosity that didn't take my idea as a CEO seriously. But not only did we have to build our own board, we had to build our own table to lean into. If you don't have it, you just build it. You do it. You find ways. You find people who can help you. And it doesn't always have to be, you know, I mean, oh my goodness, I've worked with the most creative people and they just exchange services. I mean, I've even seen my husband do this. He's had patients who haven't been able to pay him and they would bring him fish and he brings other people fish. And, you know, there's things that you can do we don't need to make excuses. There's things we could do. Lisa, you mentioned the modeling background, and I'm grateful for that long ago career. It was a great education. There are things that are concerning in that industry. And sometimes I feel like a big killjoy when people say, oh, my child wants to be in this industry. It's like, okay, I need to just like let you know about this, and this. And I never thought I would write a novel, but I met Rachel Van Dyke and she's a New York Times bestselling author. And so together we wrote Fashion Jungle. It's fiction and it's based on true stories in my life, roommates, other women that I knew in the industry. And it really exposes she wrote it in such an entertaining, fun way. And at the same time, it exposes the underbelly of that business.
Oh my gosh. I bet you have some stories. I want to read that book now. I'm going to put a link to that in the show notes, guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah, gosh, I mean, I think that's a lot of the entertainment industry too, right? Not just the fashion industry, but the entertainment as a whole. You know, just having that really good core sense of yourself is so important, really, in anything, business, whether you're going into the entertainment industry or anything like that. Knowing who you are, like you have to have that strong sense of who you are, or you'll just.
Hey, Kathy, final question for you as we wrap up here, and thank you. Your Eco Clean line is great for modern households, eco-conscious office spaces. looking to reduce their footprint. But can you share with our listeners about a time you've directly seen the positive impact of your work?
Oh my goodness, Ron, a powerful question. I see it every day. I see from our family at home working to be more conscientious and doing a better job, to being at the furniture markets. And that's been really exciting to see a whole industry come together and just work together. And again, Susan Inglis, just a great leader in this, to learn about how we can work better. And I'd say being at furniture markets, people from all over the world coming together with this common goal of just being better stewards of our planet and taking better care. That's has such an impact, and just experiencing the excitement. I'm encouraged by the younger generation who does ask a lot of questions, and they are demanding. And I love that. They want to know the how. Well, how are you bringing this to market? How is this happening? And I encourage those questions, and I encourage people, keep asking those questions until you get your answers.
I love that. Yeah. Keep going. And I read this in a spiritual person that I like and follow. When you see somebody successful doing something great, something that you want, rather than feel envious, because a lot of times your first gut reaction is to feel that like envy feeling, go, gosh, rockets of desire have shot out into the universe. That gave me that feeling that is something that I want to accomplish. And that's something that I want to achieve. So quickly change that mindset and say, gosh, how can I do that? If she did that, if Kathy built this worldwide empire, maybe I can too. Maybe I can do that. And maybe she set the bar high for the rest of us to follow. And I love that thought, because like we talked about the social media and a lot of the competition and envy, and everybody feels like they have to be just so perfect all the time, look perfect, say the right things, realizing that no, we're all human, and let other people inspire each other, and look at it like that instead of, that kind of envy, the green envy, and making this a full circle.
Oh, Lisa, that is, such a great point that you bring up. And one of the frustrating things about the modeling industry back when I worked in it is so much sameness. Everybody kind of looked the same. And my girlfriends back home would say, I'm not going to spend money on a magazine to look at pictures of retouched skinny women wearing clothes I can't afford. We get it. We understand you're working, you're earning money to try to start a business. But when you do have your own business, make it real. And one of the first models I hired when we had our company was my mom. And I loved that. And working with beautiful people come in every shape, size, color, and age. Yeah. The biggest secret of that long ago modeling career was a good photo retoucher. Today there's Photoshop.
Secrets out of the bag. They do retouch the photos.
So people need to understand that. And sometimes people will say, well, it was easy for you because, you had, a little smidgen of notoriety from the modeling career. And my answer to that is, my goodness, if you have the gift of anonymity, that is a gift. I do admit there were some doors that were open to me because of the modeling career. They were doors of curiosity. As I mentioned earlier, they didn't take my ideas as CEO seriously. They wasted each other's time. They wasted my time, wasted their time. Yeah. If you have that gift of anonymity, you get to start your brand with a clean slate.
Wow.
You get to start it however you want and build your integrity and be consistent, and you can improve upon that brand every day. And every experience with us is a lasting brand impression. And so that's why it's so important to really take control of that brand, of your own brand, and build it with integrity. Know what's happening every step of the way, and bring things to market that are going to bless other people, be a benefit, and fill your heart because you're doing something positive.
I love that. Wow, guys. I hope this inspired you. I know I feel so inspired. And friends, run in your sustainable sneakers. Don't walk over to NaturEZway, and that's NaturEZway, UREZWAY.com, to learn more about Kathy's Eco Clean line or to find a store near you. You can also find them on Amazon, as well as major chains like Walmart, Bed Bath & Beyond, Whole Foods, Lowe's, Albertsons, Vons, Pavilion, Safeway, Ace, and many others. And to learn more about Kathy, visit her at kathyireland.com, and that's Kathy with a K.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us today, Kathy. Keep up the great green work.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you so much. And stay tuned.
Ron and Lisa, thank you. And just one last shout out to our partners at the Green Pet Shop. They are helping save animals with no-kill shelters. So grateful to them, and so grateful for you, Lisa and Ron, for all the great work that you're doing.
Thank you so much. That's amazing. Great job, Green Pet Shop, on that. And the cruelty-free, the line, your Eco Clean line is cruelty-free, and that is huge. That's so important today more than ever, that we support those brands that walk their talk and that are making the world a better place. So thank you, Kathy. This was incredible. We really appreciate it.
It really was. I was like, Oprah who? I just talked to Kathy. Oprah who? Look at this empire. This is incredible. Okay. Stay tuned for another episode to up-level your health, your home, and the planet. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you. Thanks, Kathy.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
This episode of the Healthy Home Hacks podcast has ended, but be sure to subscribe for more healthy living strategies and tactics to help you create the healthy home you've always dreamed of. And don't forget to rate and review so we can continue to bring you the best content. See you on the next episode.